first thing we need to do to this car is wash it. If you guys can't tell, this thing is dirty and has been caked. It is set in. You can see on either side of this how much is here. Like, so we are going to get this thing washed and then take some before and after pictures, because this thing is dirty. But let's get it soaked down first and get it wet. So we got to get all this out from around these wipers, because this stuff, you can tell, has been here for a minute. Yeah, that's a lot of dirt. Because this car sat for since 5 of 21, which is almost, what, 3 years now? So we are gonna get as much of this stuff off this, because we're supposed to have a lot of rains tomorrow and Wednesday, so we need to get as much of this stuff off as we possibly can. I'm gonna get the blower so I can blow all this stuff off and around the engine bay so that we don't have any of the wet leaves when we go to soap it down. So now that we got that all cleaned up and sprayed down with some water, we still have some heavy mud deposits in this little the cowl piece that has the foam. That is gone on either side, but that's to be expected since it sat with so much crap there for so long. It would just eat that away. So we can order a new one. I believe FCP Euro has one, or somebody now makes an aftermarket one. I'm not 100% sure. But our next step is to soak this sucker down with the foam gun and get the layer of dirt off this thing and get it to where we can start scrubbing it. So it is foamed. We're gonna let that sit and soak for a minute so it'll loosen up all that dirt that's on there, and then we will start scrubbing this thing and getting it clean. So we have it all scrubbed, and so we did it. We sprayed it down, then we also foamed it again, and then we sprayed it down, and then we re-foamed it again, and then we scrubbed it. Let me get this. Where's this freaking thing? I don't know what size I need. I need something with a little bit more power than that. Where's my... Hang on. There it is. I need to get all these little cracks and stuff for the trunk, because we can't open the trunk right now, so I'm assuming there's still the same amount of dirt that's in the trunk, like leaves and stuff, or that were in the front. So, but as you can see, it's cleaning up really well. Let's get this hose down and all this crap off, and then I'll show you guys a final look on it. Well guys, that cleaned up pretty stinking well. As you can see, there's no, like, a slight paint correction on this thing, and this car will be perfect. Like, the back cleaned up, the back doesn't have anything. So in washing it, like the top, you saw the top, how dirty the top was. I think with just a light cut and polish, this thing's gonna be near perfect. The only thing I saw was a little dent right there. If you guys can see it, you can see it right there. I can do paintless dent repair on that, and that is literally the only ding on this entire car. There's no other ding, scratch, nick, or anything on this thing. It is near perfect. So we got it washed. We still got to do a lot of cleaning, like deep cleaning. Like, we got to get all under here. Like, there's still some deep cleaning that we need to do, but for the most part, I wanted to get the first wash on it so that I could see what we're working with and what we're sitting at. And this looks like a near pristine car. Look at the headlights. Even the headlights for this year, they're still like in near perfect condition. I think with those wheels in silver, repainted and good to go, this car is going to look fantastic the way it sits. Let me know what you guys think, what you think about the new project, what we should do. I'm keeping this project conservative, OEM-ish, so maybe M3 front bumper, maybe not, but this thing's awesome. So next step is to kind of vacuum the interior and start kind of outlining, and let's go through a list of what we want to do to the car, what things that need to be done, fluids need to be changed, O2 sensors, get it inspected, all that kind of stuff is our first big hurdle. So let's get to it. So we have it washed and we have it backed into the driveway, right, Bug? We are now going to jack it up. But one thing before, so this car was damn near perfect, near everything. The neighbor called me and said he had hit the car. And the neighbor pulled out in his truck and ripped the front bumper paint off. This front bumper was literally near perfect. Now I'm gonna have to get it resprayed. I'll insert the video here. So that's him hitting it and taking off the paint on the front bumper, but we are going to get him to repair it, but most likely we're going to put an M3 bumper on and then have it repainted to match. But we are going to, yes, we're going to get in it. We are going to pull, we're going to jack this up, take all 4 wheels off, pull the TSW wheels off, set them over here, and we're going to finish refinishing them and cleaning them up. And then we're going to put all 4 on here so that we can eventually go down. The 2 rear tires are okay. We have 2 tires from Jay that we're going to put on the other set and have ourselves 4 tires for this car. So we are going to jack it up. That's what you do when you put your hand in the exhaust. Yes. So we are going to jack it up and we're going to clean underneath, and I'm going to kind of walk you around what we have on this car, what it came with, and what we're working with. Okay, now that we safely have it up on jack stands and we still have the jack on the other side, we can pull the wheels off and get to actually working on these while we clean up, and I'll show you what we got in the wheel wells and underneath the car for, you know, what we're looking at. We got the wheels off. One thing we could do, I do have an M3 exhaust right here that I was going to put on the red car, but I could put it on this one and make it sound good and then just custom do an exhaust on that car. It's tempting, but what we have here is dirty, other than dirty. It's got a little surface rust everywhere, but for the rear, I don't know if you guys can see, and we're gonna clean all this stuff out here. We have steel braided lines back here. They installed steel braided lines. We also have 330i brakes in the back and 330i brakes in the front with new rotors. I think they only drove like 20 miles, 30 miles on these rotors, and you can see how thick the pads are. With steel braided lines. They had it all done by somebody. You can see the struts look original, but the thing is, we do have a few channel sponsors. If you haven't seen, we got carparts.com, that is a channel sponsor, but we also have Max Peating Rods, that is a sponsor for the channel too. So we'll see what we can kind of muster up with our sponsors to see if we can snag a new set of the T7 coilovers that we had for the red car, or we get stock struts from carparts.com, and we have some M3 springs up there that we could throw on and get this thing sitting a little bit better. Either way, I think the suspension needs to be upgraded and replaced. You can kind of see some of the surface rust on the rack and pinion, and on the sway bar. Kind of got some surface rust and stuff. But this car did come from Michigan back in '98. So '98, it was sold in Michigan to a Michigan person. They actually garage kept it up until someone bought it in Oklahoma in 2018. 2017, 2018, and then it came down to Texas from there. But we had the wheels off. We are going to clean these suckers up and finish stripping the lips so that we can get those back on. But when we're going to push these over here, but while we do that and let that strip, we are going to clean up all the wheel wells, spray it down, really give this car a good detail on the exterior, because as you can see, this thing is damn near perfect. It just needs some light polishing to help bring out the shine, but it is damn near clean. I think with these wheels on it, it's gonna look fantastic. I've been going back and forth with either a gold center or a silver center, but I think a silver center is just gonna look super good on this. I think with the tan interior, gold wheels, green paint, I think that'd be too much of a like gold beige combo to the car. So I feel like if we just do silver, keep it simple, be done. If we did do a gold, it'd be like a very, very, very light gold, metallic, something that's got a little shimmer to it, but probably not. I'm probably gonna stick to silver, but let's move these off here and let's start stripping the lips again and really get these cleaned up to where we can actually start polishing the lip and getting the faces ready to go. So, I don't know if you guys can see, as you can see, all up underneath is pretty dirty. But as far as the car, it's fairly clean. Some surface rust, some rust you can see from the trailing arms, but the pockets aren't bad at all. And I just noticed something completely awkward. Hang on, let me flip you guys. Okay, I didn't know that the 323 exhaust is different than the 325, 328s, and M3s. So this is a single pipe to a Y. That's factory. That looks like a factory clamp there. That looks like factory. Okay, let's come up here. Honestly, I've never had a 323 before. I've never had one. So, yeah, it looks like it's, oh my God, is it? That is just one section from that flange down there all the way to the bottom of the headers. That is very interesting. I did not know that. I didn't. That is news to me, guys. That is something new that I did not know. I am actually stumped for the first time on an E36 part. I did not know that it was a single pipe like that for a 323. Okay, so guess what? The M3 exhaust will not bolt up because it's not the same exhaust. It's completely different. I can see they replaced 102 sensor there. You can see that's the new one. I think that's the second one that needs to be replaced. And that cord looks like it comes all the way here and plugs in right there. But this thing is definitely dirty and been sitting for a while. But everything else looks E36, I say that, you know. But I'm assuming, I guarantee that if we take that exhaust off up there, that a OBD2 like mid pipe, like 328 M3 mid pipe would fit there, and it would fit all the way back and bolt up in the same places. I'd imagine. But there's some beefy pipes up there for the front that comes into, that seems restrictive. I don't like restrictive. So let's we're gonna Google search some 323 exhausts. See if we have something that's less restrictive. Yay! We'll see. Let's check on the wheels. But underneath is dirty. It's just dirty. There's some surface rust on things, but way better than I thought. Like, this panel's rusty, but we're back in Texas now, so it's not gonna be a problem anymore. We don't have salt on our roads. So let's scrape up these wheels, and we put some paint stripper on the lips. So let's strip those down. So first round of stripper is done. You can kind of see the lips are starting to shine up. So I'm gonna strip them again because there's still some clear coat on a bunch of them. As you can see, it's starting to fog up. So we'll strip again and get even more of that clear coat off. While we're doing that, I am gonna clean up the wheel wells. So we have some cleaned up wheel wells. And why I wanted to clean up and get all this stuff, so you can see we got some bump stops that are bad, but I think the suspension's good, but it's just kind of old. I needed to check the strut towers to see if there's any rips or tears, but one of the things that I will do before we do anything with this car, is we will reinforce the strut towers, and we'll put a rear strut bar in, and we'll put a front strut bar in. So those are the two first things that I always do to these cars, because they need them. They need to be braced up just in case of anything. But as you can see, all the wheel wells cleaned up really nicely. We need to clean the engine bay, but I was showing the neighbor the engine bay because he just came over and he's interested in the car. He's a BMW guy too. I don't know if you've ever seen his. He's got an E93 four-door M3. He absolutely loves BMWs too, and he wants to get something to tinker on. So this may be going right there next door. It may be going a short drive away, but we still have to go through this car all the way, and we want to do some suspension upgrades and get everything kind of put back together so it's a actual enjoyable car, because I don't want him to take it if he does for any reason and something happens. I want to make sure this car is solid before I ever let anybody else drive it. But let's put our second coat of stripper on these wheels and get those going so that we can sand those and start cleaning up, polishing, and painting those so we can put new tires on them. I don't know what person had these wheels before. I think they've been passed around from Cameron to Chris to me to somebody else, but these suckers have 4 layers of clear coat on that lip. Not on the face. The face is the same silver. Somebody, like, I guess the original clear coat was starting to peel or fade, so someone just sprayed clear coat on top of the fading clear coat to make them look decent. But these suckers have 4 layers of clear coat. I am on my 4th stripping of these lips to try to just get the clear coat off so that I can just sand and polish these lips. Some areas you can see I've gotten down, and then some areas still have, look, Like that's one layer of clear coat off the top, and then look, there's another one below it right there, another one. There's like clear coat on top of clear coat on top of clear coat. I can't, it's absolutely insane. So it's probably gonna have to have one more round after this one of stripping to be able to get all the clear coat off, because the faces are sanded and ready for paint. I just need to clean out around the bolt holes once we get all this done, and I need to sand and polish the lips so that I can tape them off and paint the centers. But it's taking forever, so we're just gonna keep stripping them. The car basically is cleaned up. We're charging the battery. We do have a battery draw that draws down the battery in a night, in less than 24 hours, and it's dead, like completely dead. So we do have a draw somewhere. I'm suspecting it's gonna be the alternator, because they previously told me that the alternator, they tried to replace it and I guess they bought the wrong alternator, so they never replaced the alternator. But I think the alternator's bad in this. I don't think I think it may be charging right, but I think the voltage regulator in the back or whatever is draining the battery. Because even if you left the light on, it still would have some kind of charge in the morning. It may be, but it would still have something. So there is a battery draw. I think it's alternator. So we are going to, once we get the key for the trunk and we can pop the trunk to charge the battery easily, we are going to replace the alternator on it. I'm gonna look and see which alternator, because I don't trust anymore, because I don't know what the 323 has. I think it's all different. So we are gonna find a new alternator for it, replace the alternator, see if that fixes our battery draw overnight, and if not, then we're gonna go from there and start pulling fuses while we have a voltmeter, and see if we cannot find exactly where it goes. And the only reason we're replacing the alternator is because they already told me the alternator they thought was bad anyway, so I'm going to replace it as a preventative maintenance thing. It's not a very big deal, not a very hard thing to do. And I wanted to replace the belts anyways because they're old belts, so I want to do that. So we'll just do all that at the same time. But let's strip these wheels again so that we can get them back on the car. I need to get the car back back together. So the wheels are almost done. Need some more stripping on those two, but these two are completely done. So we're gonna wipe down the back sides with our Diablo wheel cleaner, and then we're gonna set them right there inside the garage for now, because we need to get these finished so we can put new tires on them, so that we can put them back on the car and put the car back down on the ground. So let's get these cleaned up. So guys, that is it for this video. One thing I forgot is this has studs on it. She had already put, I think it's Motorsport Hardware studs. I'm not sure, but there are studs on this. We may swap them out with Motorsport Hardware to make sure that we have all fresh studs and nuts. But I'll talk to Cecil this week about it. But we are done. We have gone through the car. We've identified a few things that we need to take care of, but we also got the TSW wheels ready to go get refinished. So what we need to do next is sand the lips, polish the lips, and paint the centers, but also find new tires. So I messed up. I thought these were 17s for some reason. They're 18, so I've been looking for 17-inch tires all this time and haven't been able to find anything because they're 17s. So we need 18-inch tires, so I'm gonna keep looking for some 18-inch basic tires just to throw on here, so we can throw on here so we can get this thing rolling. I'd really like to do that this week, but I'm not sure what, how all my stuff is gonna go. But with having 18s instead of 17s, I thought I had some tires from Jay, but I don't. So and he didn't have any 18s, so we are SOL on that one. So I'm gonna keep looking for some used tires this week. Maybe if we get them on, we can go to the retrospect show next week with this car and just kind of put it around. So stay tuned to the next video, guys. Gonna be doing a lot more work on this and working with some partners to get some parts on this so we can get this thing sitting exactly how it should. But stay tuned, guys. This build is gonna be a fun one. It's gonna go quick too, a lot quicker than the other builds. So stay tuned, keep watching, let's have some fun.